I want to cover several things here, but first I want to start with a comment from the title of her. I don't know her first name, but the title of her YouTube channel is Little Frenchie in Big Texas. But she's got a family. She's living there in Texas, but most of her videos are kind of based upon her life there in Texas. But she was commenting on her native France, kind of gearing up, kind of rebuilding their military forces. I can tell you what that is. I've watched, speeches from Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Union, and Tagesschau and Deutsche Welle, programs like that. But now our president, Donald Trump, is it's been his objective is to, kind of get the U.S., more, out of NATO, I don't think we'll totally withdraw, but I think the objective is to let Europe take a more leading role. And I'm thinking that's what, Europe is kind of, gearing up, kind of Europeans to protect Europe, that type of thing. And you can see that France and Germany and the UK are kind of rebuilding their forces. And probably other NATO members are, that's kind of the objective, to kind of get Europe to take a more leading role, where the U.S. is not quite providing the forces that that Europe, really should in defending NATO. Now, the way I see this is kind of a counterbalance to Putin, to Russia. Now, it's possible that that Russia, that Putin would be stupid enough to try to take a NATO country, but Russia's, Putin's getting his ass kicked in Ukraine. Now, Russia was supposed to have been a top-rate, first-rate world military power, and Ukraine is this little country that they're really they're really fighting hard, and so I don't think the Russians going to be in a position to to take especially to take on NATO. I don't see unless they stop the war in Ukraine and spend a couple of years rebuilding their forces. I don't think they're going to be in a position to take there's several smaller countries over there that that really don't, that are NATO members, that Putin might be stupid in taking, but. If he tries to take a NATO country, it could go nuclear real quick. And you talk about your native France being the only nuclear power in Europe. I don't think that's true. I think there's a couple other. I'm sure that Britain has nuclear weapons, and I don't know if Germany still has nuclear weapons, if they get rid of them. But I know that the U.S. still has bases in Germany, and I'm sure they have nuclear weapons there as a counterbalance to to Russia. Probably left over from the Soviet days, but. At least the doctrine of nuclear defense would be left over from Soviet days. Weapons have probably been updated, but I'm sure if Putin tried to take Germany, oh God, that'd probably start World War III, because NATO would jump in there real quick and defend. U.S. forces in Germany would defend it, and like I said, I'm not sure what type of position Putin would be in to take on an organization like NATO, but I don't think he's that stupid. But okay, the next thing I want to talk about are ghosts. Now, I've had a fascination with ghosts for a long time. Now, if somebody has a place, now I know this place here, where I'm living is haunted, but my ghost just hides stuff. Will knock here, give me a knock every now and then. Of course, I don't know if that's just temperature changes in the wood or if it's a genuine ghost knock, but yeah, I have no problem with this. But this is kind of a ghost that just kind of wants to let me know they're there. Nothing mean or anything. Now, I'd really love to go to a place that's demonic, that someone claims there's a demon there that's demonically haunted. God, I'd love to see that. I'd love to go in there just to see for myself what a demon looks like, how a demon behaves, because I don't really believe there are any demonically haunted places like Amityville Horror. There was a book. I think that guy was just trying to make money on it. But if you study the history of that place, that guy's kind of disappeared to history. He didn't really make a lot of money on that book. He didn't recover his debts and stuff. So. I don't really believe. I think that's just kind of made up by Hollywood, to sell books. And but I said, if someone has a place that they say that I'm haunted by a demon, hey, try to prove me wrong. Invite me to witness your demon so I can watch it for myself. God, I'd love to see a ghost. I'd love to talk to a ghost. I'd love to say, hey, ghost, who were you when you were alive? Why are you still hanging around here in the Earth plane? God, I'd really love that. And third thing I want to cover, and also completely unrelated, is. This chick, she's dead now. She died in 2005 or something. I was watching a video. It's on YouTube. Mark Felton. God, his stories. He's got some of the most interesting stuff. A lot of them, are kind of based upon the events of World War II. But he's got a few newer videos that are based upon newer events. But let's talk about this chick that was Elsa Kruger. She was a secretary of Martin Bormann, and she was there in the Fuhrer bunker when Hitler supposedly committed suicide. Now, that's been debated by historians for the past 80 years. There's a lot of people that believe that Hitler, now a number of those top Nazis were proven to have escaped, and, the Dr. Mengele, Joseph Mengele. Probably one of the most evil humans that have ever existed was Joseph Mengele. If you want to find out about an evil human, study what Mengele did in World War II. But anyway, now Elsa Kruger, she was a secretary for Martin Bormann. Now she did escape Berlin in 1945, and she eventually became captive of the British. And one British intelligence officer, well, he ended up marrying her, and she lived in England for a long time, and then then they moved back to Germany, and I think she actually died in Germany like in 2005 or something. But she did a bit of CYA. She was a witness in Nuremberg. I think she did a bit of CYA, and she kind of portrayed Bormann as a stupid guy. I think she just kind of covering for him, just kind of saying, "Hey, this guy's stupid. He was killed by the Russians. He couldn't possibly have survived." But they had found his skeleton in Berlin back in the 70s or maybe early 80s with some yellow clay that was not. You didn't find this yellow clay in in such in the soils of Berlin, but it was a native to Bolivia. I don't know what that is, but anyway, I think Bormann died in Bolivia, or he died somewhere in South America back in the 70s. I don't think he died in in Berlin in 1945. But there's some of the most interesting stories at the fall of the Third Reich in 1945. Or something that the Third Reich didn't really die; it survived. A lot of those guys ended up here in the U.S. A lot of them end up as intelligence officers for the CIA and Gordon. They said the Nazis didn't die; they survived in the CIA. Now that's a different discussion. I might continue that some other time. And if anybody wants me to, I can talk about that for a long time. Okay, bye bye. Love y'all.